we are stepping up the level of our services. Our goal is to treat your loved ones with the respect they deserve. We are taking our services to new heights. We are stepping in a new direction. Step into the new millennium with Golden Gate Funeral. Where service begins and never ends. Hello and welcome to Ask the Undertaker, an open and honest look into funeral service brought to you by Golden Gate Funeral Home and Crematory, with facilities in Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and Tallulah, Louisiana. I'm your host, John Beckwith Jr., and I'm joined today by our Queen of Pre-Need, Sister Deborah Abrams.
Hello, everybody.
We have the Pastor A. Lewis Eaton.
Blessings on you.
We have our Sister and Chief Financial Officer, Miss Carolyn Haynes.
Hello. We
have the Pastor, M.T. Body of the Glory of God Church.
Praise the Lord, everyone.
All right, today we're coming from Proverbs, the 23rd chapter and the 7th verse. Pastor Eaton, if you read that for us.
Yes, the Word of God says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he."
All right, today we're going to discuss mentality. Pastor Body, we're going to start with you. What's in the mind of the pastor, M.T. Body? What is your outlook on life?
Well, my outlook on life for me is, Brother John, I have to live my life one day at a time.
One day?
Yes, sir. I can't be in a hurry. Don't borrow from yesterday. And I'm really too concerned about tomorrow. I just take it one day at a time. And I believe as I continue through life's journey, as long as I keep God first in my life, everything else will fall in its proper place. And that's the key ingredient for my outlook on life, is that I keep God first. As long as I keep him first, everything else will automatically come to where it's supposed to be, because that's what he's supposed to do for me.
So tomorrow is not promised.
No, sir.
So if you need to get a pre-need, some insurance and a will, you need to do it
today, right now.
That's the Pastor M.T. Body outlook.
That's my outlook.
Let's hear from a Chief Financial Officer. What's in the mind of a person who deals with numbers every day?
When I first wake up in the morning, John, the thing with me is this is my day.
Okay.
How I'm going to spend this day. And dealing with numbers, dealing with my life, it's a plan. Every day I have a plan. I plan for tomorrow, even though it's not promised to me. So tomorrow when I wake up, I won't be surprised and not know what to do.
Exactly.
But I thank the Lord that he gives me a plan, and I try to work it every day.
So you plan your work, and you work your plan.
Yes, I do.
That's something to learn from. We all need a little bit of that in us.
Yes.
Sometimes we can just get up in the morning, just what I used to call wildcat. Take it as it comes.
Sounds like Carolyn believes in pre-planning.
Oh, that sounds like it to me.
Most definitely. There is a plan.
Pastor A. Lewis Eaton, what's on your mind?
Well, first thing on my mind is that I'm thanking God for allowing me to see a day that I'd never seen before.
Okay.
And then I start asking the Lord to give me the knowledge to work the plan that he has for my life and the purpose he has for my life each and every day.
That's all right. Now, y'all keeping this pretty simple, Queen.
My outlook on life, I wake up, believe it or not, every morning, and I say, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, because I know the joy of the Lord is my strength. And I pray for direction and order in my life. That's my outlook. I think your life should be joyful and peaceful. And one way that you can have peace of mind is to get a pre-need, life insurance, and have a will.
If you have those three things in
If you
place,
have those three things in place,
you
it
have
brings
that
about
peace of mind.
Right.
So your mentality can be of peace.
That's right.
Now, have your family shaped your mentality, Carolyn?
Oh, most definitely. We talk about our parents all the time, John. And mostly I was with Mom most of the time. Dad was out working. So she definitely shaped my mind in family first and then doing things in the right order. Of course, God is first and then the family. And then she shaped us to know that you have to get up and you have to go to work. There's things, you can have anything in life that you want, but you have to work for them.
And she framed that in you. She gave you that frame of mind.
Yes, she did.
That you have to get up and go to work.
Every day.
Did your family influence you? I know your father was a pastor.
Yes, sir.
So there had to be some influence there that made your mentality that way.
Well, it was my father preaching and my mother's whooping.
Okay.
That framed me to know that, hey, now it's certain things that I used to do, I don't do no more. Used to pass by my house, and if I spoke to you, you didn't speak.
Right.
I would throw a rock at you.
Okay.
But my parents and my mother framed me with 7 whoopings in one day.
Right.
And I guarantee you, I run from rocks now.
Last person picking up a rock.
That's it.
Now, Pastor Body, we know that everybody doesn't have a good frame of mind. We know everybody's mentality is not always good. How did your family make you the person that you are today?
Well, Brother John, it goes back to them living their life according to the Word of God before me. And also those words of wisdom. My father shaped me by showing me, first of all, that if you're going to be a man, be a man.
Okay.
Get up and go to work. Keep your family first. But most of all, whatever you do in life, you go without and make sure that your family have what they need.
And that's something your father showed you.
He showed me.
So those who's watching this show today, we're saying you can frame your family. You can help them with their mentality by showing them
Yes, sir.
what you should do.
That's right.
Now as the queen, I know you are one of the top producers in the nation when it comes to selling pre-needs. And
By
do
the
you
grace
see
of
where
God.
if mom purchased a pre-need or if grandmother purchased one, do you find that the grandkids or the children are now following their footsteps?
Absolutely. I see that every day, Mr. Beckwith. They'll come in and they'll tell me how easy it was when they had to make arrangements for their parents and they wanted to follow in their footsteps and get a pre-need for themselves. And now even their children are coming in and getting a pre-need. One lady on yesterday, I helped her. She was trying to transfer her mom's funeral from one funeral home to Golden Gate Funeral Home. And she said, you know what, I need to go ahead and do mine too. And she was only 51 years old.
So your family can frame your mentality. They can make it good
Or bad.
or bad.
That's right.
So can your mentality limit your progress then, Carol?
Most definitely. And we talked about some homes and some children's frame of mind are bad.
Okay.
And they've been raised in some bad homes, some abusive homes.
And it's not really a bad child.
No.
Sometimes they're just a bad mentality.
And it's all that they know, that's what they've known from that time.
Okay.
And then it stops them from being the very best that they can be for what God has planned for them. But He will put someone else in their path to show them the right way. But yes, your mentality can definitely keep you down. It won't let you be the best you can be and bring you to the level you need to be.
Pastor Bott, I've heard this say slave mentality, prison mentality. What can we say to those who are watching that you don't have to live in that frame of mind?
You should be open-minded.
Okay.
Your mind should be open to new suggestions and new ideas about life because as we notice every day, life study changing. Technology, what we had 20 years ago to play with, which was called an Atari, now is PlayStation 3.
Right.
Those games are on whole two different levels.
It's
It's
changed.
changed. And as time change, we should be willing to change because if not, we will be left behind. And it is very important that we, sometimes, as we say, keep up with the modern things of life so that we could stay in the flow of life. Because if not, if we don't change our mentality, because I know a lot of people say, well, I got insurance, and I'm just going to use that for burial. But no, we need to get people to understand life insurance is for the living.
Now, it's hard. It's interesting you said that, Pastor Body. We've been taught for generations that you purchase insurance so that you don't have to worry about when someone passed away, that money is there. And you're saying now that mentality must change.
Yes, sir, because the insurance policy is for the living. That's why it's called life insurance. It ensures that after your life is over, those who are left living can live on. And in this day and time, if we go out and get $5,000, let's say $10,000 policy, the average funeral cost is $7,500.
Right.
What can your family do with just $3,500, with $2,500?
Exactly.
But that doesn't include the cemetery now.
And that doesn't even went to the
$7,500.
cemetery yet. You just made funeral arrangements.
So that $10,000 policy, Queen, is going to be used completely just to take care of your burial or whatever
Today,
services.
but 20
today.
years from now, that's not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough. Now, so we're saying change the mentality of what we use insurance for.
Yes, sir.
But if I purchase that pre-need, Queen,
The
it
price
frees.
is frozen, right. I had a lady to come in, believe it or not, day before yesterday, and she had a policy from way back in the 70s. I think your mom had actually wrote it up for her. Miss
Isn't that
Eileen's
something?
name was on it, and she paid $1,000 for the same service that cost $6,000 today.
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 She saved $5,000.
Yes.
And if she passed away 20 years from now,
That
funeral
same
is still
$1,000 is locked in.
is completely paid for.
She's 97 years old, though. So.
Isn't that a blessing? Wouldn't it be nice to see her live another 20
Yes,
years,
it
Carol?
would. The Lord say the same. We don't know.
Now, Carol, I know it sounds a little confusing sometimes. Everybody's familiar with insurance. Insurance has been around forever, Pastor Body. Everybody's very familiar. Our grandparents, everybody's taught us about insurance. What can we teach the public about pre-need?
We want them to understand that also not only the price is frozen, But you make your own choices with pre-need. You tell your family exactly what you want done at your service. There is no emotional stress for your family. It's enough in that they've lost you. Most of the time, that's the matriarch of the family. You've done everything for them. They're going to be lost. So they need some directions. In that pre-need, you give them those directions. You tell them what you want, how you want to dress, how you want your service to proceed, in addition to it being paid for. Anything else that I've left you, it's yours. Please understand you don't have to walk into the funeral home and pay one dime for the services I've pre-needed. And I'm showing you the best way to do, I've done my service the best way now to do yours.
And now, Pastor Ita, I know you've counseled many members in the mentality of losing a loved one, what they go through mentally and how there's so much distress on them. And then we're asking them to come in there and make decisions at a time like that. So why would you recommend a pre-need to someone?
Well, one reason I would recommend it is because you could have some peace when you come to the service. You don't have to be sitting in the service wondering, how am I going to take care of this? What are we going to do tomorrow? How are we going to handle the next day? We have to recognize that when you take out a pre-need, everything is frozen right then, and you don't have to worry about that. And a lot of times we tell our church members, if you get a pre-need, you can have the service at the church, you can have it at the funeral home, wherever you want to have it, because you have made that decision on what you want to do. And it's so good when you can have that you don't have to be sitting up there taking a basket, sitting it out front, taking up an offering while a service is going on.
Pastor By, that could be really tough on the family.
It is.
That can take you through a mental challenge.
Yes, sir.
If you have to beg or ask someone to help you bury your loved one.
That's why pre-need is so important, Brother John, because, as we all four stated, it freezes the cost of your service, but most of all, it gives you a peace of mind in knowing that as the deceased, your wishes are going to be made a reality. No one can come in and change that, make a decision. They can't make it more and they can't make it less. It will have to be just what it is on that paper. And one thing about it, the deceased wishes trumps all.
Isn't that something? So it doesn't matter if I'm married, if I have children. There's no argument because I decided
what you wanted for your
what
final
was going to be
demise.
done.
Yes, sir.
A pre-need also, Mr. Beckwith, allows you to have an inheritance left for your children, the surviving spouse, or anybody, one of your loved ones.
We talk about pre-need. How do we feel about insurance? Is Golden Gate Funeral Home, is the Queen of Pre-need against insurance?
No, I think insurance is very, very important. In fact, I have like 3 insurance policies.
Okay.
Along with my pre-need, and then I also have my cemetery property already paid in full. I think the life insurance allows you to, as I said earlier, what I will do with that is leave it to my children. And they're going to have monies to do what they want to do, or maybe to make one of their dreams come true if something happens to me.
Carolyn, a lot of people have insurance. There are certain things we need to know about insurance, that we need to get this across to the public. Tell us about this 2-year contestability. That comes up quite often in our business.
We see it, John, almost on a daily basis. Families will walk in and they've gotten to the point where, okay, we need to go in and we need to actually set the service date. They come in, they set the date. They didn't have a pre-need, so therefore they have to make choices regarding the funeral service. And then when it comes to, Mom had an insurance policy. Here's the policy number. And then we go in and we call for them just to verify it and get all the information, and it's less than 2 years old. What people don't understand, what they don't hear when the agents, or sometimes the agents just don't tell them. If this policy is not at least 2 years and 1 day, in 99% of the policies, it's not going to pay the full benefit of that policy. You've only made a few payments into it. That's all you're going to get back. You don't have a $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 insurance policy available for your family to pay for your funeral and other expenses. So we need people to understand to pull out those policies and look at that date of issue. And if there's any questions, because we don't expect everyone to be an expert in insurance, we are. Call us. Just give us a call and we will explain everything to you. We want you to know today it's very important about that 2-year period.
Let's talk a little bit about that. We don't say they're going to pay. We don't say they're not going to pay. But contestable allows the insurance companies the right to investigate it. They don't have to guarantee anything.
Yes, sir.
Now, what business can stay in business accepting 2 premiums from you and then turn around giving you $1 million?
It won't be open long.
They won't be open very long. It
No,
just
sir.
doesn't make
Makes
business
business
sense.
sense.
And that's the reason there is a 2-year contestability. If it wasn't there, people will get bad news from the doctor, go out
And
and
get $1 million insurance policy.
exactly. So that's the reason that is in place. It's not the idea the insurance company's trying to steal anything from you. They're not trying to take anything. They're not bad people,
Right.
but they are business
Business
people.
people.
That's right.
So it's very important that you understand that those 2 years and that contestability is very important. What about beneficiaries, Pastor Body? How often do we make the mistake? We love our children. You talked about leaving that